All right, good morning. It is episode 72 of the Schulte cast. A little bit late. It kind of got away from me. I did not sleep last night very well at all. I may have gotten to the second hand the amount of times I got up to go to the bathroom. Starting to clean up and, I have way too many t-shirts, but a lot of that is, the memories that I have. And I found this one. Which is not a t-shirt, but it's a cool long sleeve shirt. Nonetheless. All right, so back to the land of heat and humidity. What a great trip up to central New York. Again, just almost I think the entire family was there. I guess one spouse did make it. She's out west. But it was great. The weather was fantastic. The food was fabulous. I was 214. I came in almost weighing. I put on about 8.5 pounds. Took off 3 of those so far. Although the caramels and the Baskin Robbins didn't help yesterday. But I'm at 219 right now. We'll see where we are. I guess Thursday morning we're going to make the trip up to Louisville to take the bourbon away. I'm hoping that they have the year wrong. I will be at crashing. I'm going to crash the ESPN, Southwest Louisiana birthday bash. I'm hoping it is July 10th, 2024. We have a little bit of a typo. It's got to be this year because last year at this time they were not ESPN. And so I presume this is Wednesday. And we'll be all packed up. Probably going to Uber over there because I'm planning on having my car packed up with bourbon and moving it up to Louisville. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do with that. So, it'd be nice if I could get a majority in there because even when I move, I still need things in the car. I guess I could ship a couple of boxes, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I could ship a couple of things to my brother's place, which might beat me there, just so I have it. Can you put some luggage on an airplane these days? I don't know. You used to be able to do that. Ship a package the same day, right? If it needs to be there today, you can put it on a plane at 9 and it's wherever it needs to be, later on in the day. So, maybe I could just do a carry-on if you will, an overnight bag just to get me where I'm going and send the suitcases up there. I don't know. We'll see. But we will be again, downtown. I guess they're doing the shows all day from there. I probably won't be there all day. I'll probably be there for AFR. All right, I gotta pack up. But maybe it's not the worst of all ideas. Stop there for lunch. Again, July 10th, 2023 was a Monday. So we're hoping this is July 10th, 2024. All right. Just made a little bit of a typo. It happens, although no one has noticed it and or corrected it just yet. But so it'll be a good chance to see those guys. And, I'm sure there'll be lots of Cajun fans showing up and just to say goodbye. It's been quite the ride here in Lafayette and Mobile for the last decade. All right. Let's see what's going on. Paul Skenes, All-Star. I think Jeff Passan and others, maybe Tim Kirkjian. I mean, is Paul Skenes getting like Cy Young love? I mean, it's not very often that the best pitcher of baseball was promoted May 8th. By the way, the Pirates can't seem to get out of their own way. When he was promoted on May 8th, or it was at least that was when it was announced, they were 4 games under and 2 games back of the wild card. They are now they are now 4 games under and 4 games back of the wild card. No, they have a really good rotation. So Skenes is, I mean, he very well could start the All-Star game. I mean, again, I'm just have not been paying attention all that much to Major League Baseball. I'm not going to know most of these guys. Let's see here. Pitching. Let's see what it is. Ronaldo Lopez is having a great year for Atlanta. He certainly deserves it. Seth Lugo is having a ridiculous season for for Kansas City. Let's see who else in the National League. Ranger Suarez, he's got 10 wins. Chris Sale has 11 wins. I mean, there's a lot of guys who certainly deserve it. You probably should start Paul Skenes. I don't know if he's got enough innings to qualify yet for these things. When a table is sorted by a rate stat, non-qualified players are hidden by default. So he is not on the top. You probably have to have a certain amount of innings, and obviously his innings have been limited. But Paul Skenes is is an all-star, and we'll see if they start him, right? Because that's what you want to see. I mean, he is ridiculous. I want to see what his stats are. Let's see. We search. Let's see what his stats are. His stats are ridiculous, right? Let's see here. Complete stats. All right. He's 5-0, 2.12 ERA. He's made 10 starts, 59 and a third innings. So only about 6 innings a start. 78 strikeouts and a 1 whip. Ha! 48 hits. All his runs have been earned, so that's good defensive behind him if you want to look at it that way. He has given up 7 home runs. Okay, so he's going to learn that major league hitters can catch up to a lot. So he has given up a bunch of home runs, but he's walked a total of 12 guys and struck out 78. Opponent's batting average is .221. I mean, could he end up winning the Cy Young Award? I mean, again, there's not a lack of good pitchers right now in the big leagues. Again, Lopez, 1.71 ERA in 16 starts. Suarez, 2.58 ERA in 18 starts. He's got one of the few complete game shutouts of the year. Chris Sale has 11 wins and a 2.71 ERA. Chris Sale, 127 strikeouts, 19 walks in 99.2 innings. So it's not like there are other guys that are not deserving. All right. So it'd be nice if Paul Skenes got into that conversation. We'll see. Usually that's not the way it goes. They're not worried about the promotion. Could you, bring him in at the end of the ball game if you want him to close, but then you have the guys with the saves, the rite of passage. He's a rookie. He doesn't deserve it. Blah, 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 blah. But there are a bunch of guys who do deserve to start. So it's not like, there's one guy you got to get. There's a few guys that he's got to pass over. So he's having a fantastic season. Dylan Cruz is actually doing better at Syracuse. A couple of guys in that outfield have been promoted, though, for the Nationals. So they've got a couple of guys that have moved up to the big leagues. We'll see if Dylan Cruz, again, it's very odd. He's played better at AAA than he did at AA. Now, it could be the cold. It could have been the cold. No. Should we look? Let's see here. Pirates schedule. Let's see here. When do they play the Nationals again? If they have already. Maybe they've already played them. It appears that they have. Oh, well, no. Okay, so here you go. This could be interesting. It's a 4-game series in Pittsburgh. Not Labor Day weekend, but the second weekend, technically the first full weekend of September. The 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. There's going to be a good chance that Dylan Cruz is brought up at that point in time or by that. So you could see a Cruz Skenes deal in September, presuming he does get called up. He may get called up before that, and they don't shut Skenes down. All right. Now, they may do that because if the Pirates aren't in the playoff hunt, they may just shut him down when he gets to 100. Well, I don't know if he's going to get to 150 innings. He's only pitched 60 so far. So we'll see. We'll see what they want to do there. They did shut him down before he played last year. Before they were going to play last year in Altoona, and we just haven't had that Skenes Cruz matchup just yet. But there's a good chance that you bring Cruz up. Here's the other thing, though, okay? Because not that the Nationals have this issue, but he would obviously have to make. You're going to have to make room on the 40-man roster per se. He's not going to be on the 40-man roster because he doesn't have to be yet, right? Am I wrong on that? I don't think that's the case, right? He's not on the 40-man roster just yet. There's some guys in the minors that are, but he doesn't have to be protected yet. It's a few years before he's got to be protected. But if you bring him up to the big leagues, then you got to protect him and you got to take somebody else off. That's the thing. So we'll see what the Nationals do. But that is something to look forward to. You may get a Skenes Cruz matchup. Finally, it's a 4-game set. So 80% chance that he's going to pitch. And there's a good chance that Cruz will be in the big leagues come September, if not beforehand. All right, LSU has done a good job with the recruiting lately, right? Again, it's all about, to me, it's tough to take anyone's word for it. It's a big deal these days, right? But it is July. Let's see where we are. 24/7 Sports. They got some good defensive line guys. Team rankings. Let's see here. 2025. LSU is 6th. They got 15 commits. They got 2 5-star guys, and they just got the defensive line guys. Zion Williams, defensive lineman, 6'4", 295, July 4th. Brandon Brown, defensive lineman, 6'1.5", 286. He's a 3-star. Zion Williams, a 3-star. I'm going to guess they're going to get bumped up, right? You love this Louisiana name, Brett Bordelon on Isidore Newman. Oh, that's old. That's old. He was committed, 2 years ago. So we'll see. So that'll be interesting. All right. So he committed December 2022. He committed in his sophomore year. No, hold on. So he's going into his senior year in 20. He is a 20. Did he commit when he was a freshman? So 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25. So he committed when he was a sophomore. 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25. Okay. So he committed when he was a sophomore. So that's one of those guys that, does the team keep their word? Because he's a 3-star too. And he's a little bit of a smaller offensive lineman, tall, 6'4", 260. That's what he's listed at. LSU doesn't get 6'4", 260 guys all that often. But he's from Isidore Newman, and we'll see if they bring Bordelon along. You're more along the lines to get the Ty Millers, 6'5", 315. Carius Kearney, 6'4", 301. Those are your offensive linemen. Devin Harper, 6'4", 305. Those kind of are the guys you get. So they did get a couple commits. We'll see if that lasts. Again, it's July, and they're not committing until, December. Although LSU is off to a really good start. All right, 6th in the nation, did I say? Yeah. That's pretty good. Let's see. Ohio State's got 23 commits. They're number 1. Alabama's got 20. They had a lot of guys commit, and then a lot of guys pull out where either it's NIL or they got better players, and they, or maybe you need to find somebody else to go. Georgia's got 18 commits. They're 3. Notre Dame 22. 13 4-stars, no 5-stars. Oregon's got 3 5-stars. They're number 5. They got more, the wide receiver. And LSU's got a couple of 5-stars and 15 commits. My Orange, speaking of, probably falling a little bit here because, all their commits are 3-stars, right? They have a lot of quantity. They got 26, but they don't have a 4-star yet, according to 24/7. And they certainly don't have a 5-star, but they got 28 commits. Now, I still don't think they've, limited. You can get as many as you want. It used to be 25, and then you get the blue shirts and the gray shirts and stuff like that, and the red shirts. But they have 28 commits. They have lost a couple. They do have some highly rated 3-star guys. They just got an offensive lineman. Is it that was committed to Elijah Crawford, defensive lineman? They beat out Rutgers in West Virginia. Now, that used to be not that big of a deal, but Rutgers does a good job recruiting. So, but Syracuse was a top 10 team. Now they're 31, which is still pretty good. I don't presume Syracuse to be a top 10 recruiting class, top 20, but you got to be top 50. And right now they're 30. And if you can get a couple of 4-stars in there, their recruiting will go up. Let's see where the Cajuns are recruiting wise, because they've had some teams. They've had some commits. Let's see here. Not in the top 50. Georgia State, by the way, tops Del McGee doing a good job recruiting. 17 commits, but only 7 3-stars. So he's got a lot of commits. Again, they got a quantity, not necessarily quality. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know guys. Doesn't look like the Cajuns have that many committed just yet. Cajuns have 5 commits. That puts them 108th in the country. They did get, Russell Babineau out of Lafayette, wide receiver. I thought they just got, who's not listed on here? I thought is the quarterback. Let me see here. Didn't they get a quarterback? I thought they did. Let's see here. Cajuns football. And no, it's probably not going to be on the they can't do that, right? They can't announce it verbal. So it's not on their deal. Yeah, not going to be on their deal. Let's see. Not on their Twitter feed. Cajuns football latest. Let's see here. Cajuns commits. Let's see. Because I think they got a good size quarterback. Let's see if he's on it. Daryl Smith from Picayune High School commits to the Raging Cajuns. Running back, I think he's on the list. Let me see here. No, see, he's not on the list. So the Cajuns have a couple of more players that are not on the list, at least on 24/7. And I thought there was like a half a dozen. I thought there were like a half a dozen guys. Yeah, these are old stuff. All right. I'll see it. Maybe write it down next time. I think Cajuns QB. Let's see here. No. Let's see here. Wishing my guy Nick Domain. I mean, this was a barrel landing on Houston. Landing on Houston. Let me see. We had the commits here. I do not see the list. There are some good Cajuns followers who keep up with that a little bit more than I do, I guess. Are really thorough with that. I do not see that right now. Oh, well. Let's see what we got here. Cajuns fan. Let's see if he does it. No. No, I can't see it, unfortunately. Oh, well. Okay. It is what it is. But they have more, and they did get a QB, and they got a good size QB. Oh, here it is. Is this it? Coleman Carter? Yeah, that's it. 6'2", 190. I like that. He's not on the 24/7 thing. So it's Coleman Carter. I found it. Last one. All right. Craig Melanson tweeted it out. Okay, so that's what I wanted to find out. Because, that, again, no, he's not on the list here, 24/7. So he puts it out that he is a 3-star Adams County Christian 5A state champion. I'm not sure where he's from. But again, 6'2", 190, runs a 4.5 40. Okay. But that's good size. All right. Probably, I don't know if he's going to grow anymore, but you get him a little bit thicker, 195, 200 to withstand it. Whereas, my Orange, going back to them, they got a little guy again. What's up with the little guys? That's my problem. You need. Let me see where the QB was. They just got a QB. And he's a little dude. Rich Beelan out of the Bronx. Highly touted, but 5'11 and a half, 190. All right. We'll see. We'll see. I like the 6'2", 190. Again, it's more about, being able to play than your size, but I think you're starting behind the 8 ball when you're a little smaller. Again, Levi Lewis had a really productive career for the Cajuns. Being 5'11 in the ACC is probably going to be a little bit different. LSU baseball also got some news. I don't know if some of it was true, some of it wasn't. But again, some of these guys that are committing, and again, certainly, again, I do not want to begrudge anybody or make fun of anybody. If LSU's going after them, certainly they see something, right? Because, I think the Nichols guy has some great stuff. Not sure where it's necessarily going. Let me see here. We got a little. Let me see here. Maybe it's not there. It was just the numbers were not great at all. Let me see. I may have gotten it through messages. Someone sent it to me. Let me see here. I don't know if this kid's coming back. Is Connor Benji? Is that his name? Again, I don't know if that's real or not. A former DBU and LSU Eunice right-hander. Okay. 5.73 ERA in 22 appearances. 33 innings pitched. 35 Ks, 22 walks. So he's got a strikeout an inning, but he's got almost, It's not even 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio and a 5.73 ERA. Again, I don't know if those are true numbers or if he's even coming. But again, it is interesting who LSU is picking up. They're going to be hurt by the draft. A couple players are obviously going to get drafted and go make millions of dollars and start their pro careers. Again, we always think LSU is rebuilding, but this was the rebuilding year, and they still made the tournament and needed a little push at the end. I can't imagine them not contending, although they didn't contend in the SEC this year, that's for sure. But can they got off to such a bad start, and the schedule was brutal, absolutely. That's not an excuse, that's a reason. And they turned it around when they had to. But they lost. Thatcher Hurd is out of there. They lost, Lohr is out of there. They lost a lot of guys in the portal. And so we'll see if they can make it up. All right. But it's so far away, right? And a lot of those guys at A&M ended up staying. First-time head coach, they wanted him, they got him, and they stuck around. A lot of those guys stuck around. I get a couple of guys went to Texas, but most of those guys stuck at A&M. We'll see how that works out. I don't think anybody over the weekend committed to Texas Tech, right? We're kind of still waiting for Sam Landry and Brooke Elstead to make their decisions. A little bit disappointed that nobody's come back yet, or the Cajun softball has announced any incoming, right? We're at about 2 weeks. Tomorrow's going to be 2 weeks since the Cajuns announced it. Not the presser. The Cajuns announced it. You would think that some people would be coming in. Kevin Foote suggested who the coaches may be. We'll find out more about that, I'm sure, in the upcoming days. I don't think he's putting out there, potential hires. I think he's putting out, this is the people that we'd like to hire, and we'll see how that goes. So the McNeese pitching coach could come here. We'll see if, I don't know, somewhere they get Montana Fouts in there. I'm not sure if that's feasible. But we haven't seen, right? They have not announced anything. Let's see here. I don't think they've announced anything recently. Cajun softball. Let's see here. No. They really haven't put out anything since July 28th, since the presser. Well, they haven't really put anything out. So, all right. Cajun social media has done a really good job. It's been pretty good since with the Tulane and the beer thing, all of the quotes from all of the coaches. I have a feeling that Cajuns went out asked. I don't know how you go about getting a quote these days from Nick Saban, but it's a good job by the Cajuns, to ask about her. Maybe Allison put in a call. Hey, coach, can you pick up the phone? Certainly, after doing the chores for Miss Terry, has some time on his hands. But the Cajuns got a lot of people to put some quotes out, and it's just a good job by their social media team. They've been doing a good job with that. We are in the, I don't think these are the dog days of summer. I guess for sports content it is. There's nothing going on this week. I guess you have the Open Championship. So we have some golf, which will be cool because then we wake up, and I wake up early. So, I'm up Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm up 4:45. And I'm up at 6 on Tuesday, Thursday. We'll see. Thursday, we'll see. I got to get a workout in Thursday. So do I go running? Do I get on the bike? It's a 12.5-hour jaunt to Louisville. My brother, the doctor, who's only a couple years younger than I am, he can do it. Now, there's more people in the car, but he tends to drive the whole way. Although his wife and daughter can drive, he drives the whole way. Now you get up and eat, and you do have conversation. Whereas, I'm just listening to sports talk, and I don't mind talking to myself. But it's not easy. Memphis is 6 hours. My guy Tim Buckley heard I was coming, so he went to Buffalo on me. He's not going to be there. And we can stop and see my buddy Brad Carson. I'm not sure I've actually ever met, but I'll see if he's got some time on Thursday just to say hello. Nashville. Can I crash at your place, Jay Crane? You want a bottle of bourbon? Nashville's like 9 hours away. That's pretty good, because even if I leave at 8, which hopefully I'll leave before that. If I leave at 8, 6 hours is just like 2 or 3, depending on stopping, right? I mean, somewhere in there I'll have to get the gas, but the Hyundai does not get good gas mileage, so that's a thing. But I mean, 9 hours is pretty good. So 9 hours at 8 o'clock is still, it's like 5 p.m., right? Like 6 o'clock is 10 hours. I still have a few hours of, daylight. Oh, and I'm also going to look at what time the sun sets here. I know it's, been getting shorter now for 2 or 3 weeks, but the sun did not set in upstate New York until 9 p.m. 9 p.m. And maybe even after that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes when I'm down here. My curtains are closed. I'll have to pay attention. We had all the rain on and off yesterday, so we'll see what time the sun sets here. But again, even if it's 10 hours or 11 hours, I mean, I guess if it's 6, could I get to Louisville? To me, that's pushing it. I just go have some dinner in Nashville, and crash there and get up early on a Friday, and go start looking for places to live. So, let's see what else we got. I think that about covers it. We're still waiting for we are still waiting for the Pelicans, other shoe to drop, I guess. Right? Yeah. They need a center. I guess there's some free agent guys they can go after. Brandon Ingram is still on the Pels. It feels like it went from the Pelicans want Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram wants to stay. They understand what the money's going to be. And now it's Brandon Ingram's not getting the money that he wanted. Apparently, one of these agents dropped the ball. Caleb Martin was offered a bunch of money and turned it down from the Heat. He was offered 5 years, $65 million, and the agent thought that was not enough. He got 4 years, 32. Was that what it was? I'm looking for it. On a 4-year deal guaranteed for more than $32 million. So, he lost. I mean, that's one agent that's getting fired. All right. It would appear. And I know some guys, you better be right about that. And that's $20 million he left on the table. Not to mention, I was paying state tax going to Philadelphia. So he lost a lot of money. May have a better chance of winning a championship, which is okay. But, Caleb Martin left a bunch of money on the table. And now Brandon Ingram is trying not to leave that on the table. We'll see what happens moving forward. They're still talking about Lauri Markkanen getting moved. I'm trying to figure out where DeMar DeRozan fits in with the Kings. Is that gonna work? I saw a national host say that's a great move by them. Bad job by the Lakers, I guess. We'll see. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work with the Kings, but it's a pretty good deal for the Kings, I guess, money-wise. 3 years, about $80 million, something like that. Not bad. So we'll see what happens there. There are some more restrictions, like a first apron and a second apron. So much for capitalism, right? It's interesting, When these teams move, it's all about maximizing the amount of money that you can make. When they want to control salaries, they figure out how to control salaries. They're good at that. They are good at that. It is it's one way for them and another way for the employees. Although, they're well-paid employees. They are well-paid. But, how much would LeBron have made in his career if there was no salary cap? And interesting, I guess they were talking about, the Celtics being up for sale and Cuban selling the Mavs up for sale. How much why are they doing that now? People are saying it's going to get extremely expensive to run these teams, but aren't they? It's still a percentage of your revenue. It's never going under. So interesting. Certainly it's at peak performance now because you're going to get, this huge TV contract coming up here. That's probably going to, I would think would be announced before the season. So whenever that deal is done, it's going to get announced and it's going to be huge. It's going to be enormous. All right. We're going to see here. I don't know. I got a few things I need to get done. I don't know if I can get a dentist appointment. I kind of have to ask if someone canceled. I'm going to see if I can get my feet taken care of. Apparently, custom insoles are not great after a couple of years, and I've had mine for more than a decade. Really haven't started hurting until the last couple of months. Again, trying to get something in a couple of days is not great. And then I have one thing to fix on the car. So we'll see if that can get done. I mean, for the most part, I'm just going to be sitting here packing. So I don't necessarily need my car. I am going to go to Total Wine and see if I can get some more boxes. And we can get some more boxes from Albertsons. Had some good banana boxes. Again, I'm not packing up most of my stuff. I'm going to, if I can be a little bit organized and pack up the stuff that I need to take with me, that'll be one thing. And because, it's going to take, I presume it'll take at least a week for my stuff to arrive. It'd be nice if it arrived, in a few days, but I doubt that to be the case. As I get, if I move on a Thursday and those guys want to show up on a Sunday, if I've moved in already, that's fine by me. That's fine by me. I won't have a problem with that and start work on July 22nd. Okay. Again, we'll be at, if it's today, I'm going to miss it. I don't think it is. I will be at the birthday party. I guess technically I'm crashing. Apparently they're doing their shows all day long. I don't think it's July 10th, 2023. I think it's July 10th, 2024, which is Wednesday. So we'll see you there on Wednesday. A good chance to say goodbye to a lot of friends. So it'll be fun to do that, and hopefully you'll join them. All right. So it'll be a good time. I don't know how live the studio audience is going to be for Foot and D'Lo and Mesh, but I'm sure by the time Moscona gets there at 3:00, there'll be some people that are hanging out. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Sunbelt podcast was Southern Miss. Will Hall has the Fighting Will Hall talking about, they got to win. I think it's Rodemaker, the quarterback, kind of Rodemaker, a lot on his shoulders. And can Southern Miss surprise? They have a very interesting early schedule. We'll give the loss to Kentucky, which opens it up. But they get Southeastern, and then they get USF. And then they're at Jacksonville State. I mean, if this team is any good, can they start out the season 3-1? And then you have an off week, and then you get the Cajuns. Cajuns haven't beaten Southern Miss in a few years, certainly not the last 2 years. So can they start out 4-1. Then I think they go to JMU. They have a shot at being a major surprise. Here's the issue. Southeastern will not be a pushover, although a game is at home. South Florida is certainly not going to be a pushover. And Jacksonville State's not going to be a pushover. You absolutely have the opportunity to go 3-1. You lose to Southeastern, you could be 0-4. And, Will Hall won't make it to October. That's, if you're 1-3 and you have an off week and you lost to South Florida by close, but then you lost to Jacksonville State, there's a good shot that there's going to be a new coach coaching against the Cajuns. They're just not going to wait. It doesn't matter if it's close or injuries or whatever the case is. Whatever they're trying to do isn't working. Now, I hope that it does. And he's 3-1 heading into the Cajuns ballgame. All right. They may not compete. 5-3 may not get it done in the Sun Belt. But if they're 8-4, that's a good season. And then if Rodemaker comes back, if Rodemaker comes back and he has the same quarterback 2 years in a row, which he hasn't had outside of Superback Frank Gore Jr., it'll be interesting to see if they can, make it to the next level. So, all right, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll start packing again, mostly books, CDs. Probably I could get rid of the books and the CDs, right? I mean, I am reading a new book. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's polarizing. I did read the Stephen A. Smith book. I thought that was a good book. I'm sorry. I'm impressed with Stephen A. And if he can get $25 million, although my guess is if they offered him $25 million, he was going to ask for 30. That's my guess. They offered him 18. He asked for 25. He was going to ask more. They could have offered him $50 million. He would have asked for 60. That's what I'm looking at. Now in the book, it says he wants to do more. He wants to host late night. He's looking for more, and we'll see if there's a streaming service that comes, after him, and he's doing his own thing, right? Pat McAfee kind of went into a big circle, was doing his own thing, was on ESPN, left ESPN, back to ESPN. Is that the way it worked? No, I don't think so. He was definitely doing his own thing, and which he kind of is still doing his own thing, but it's under the ESPN umbrella. We'll see if a streaming service comes after Stephen A. Right? It's not the worst possibility. All right. We'll see how close he gets to what he wants. Although we really haven't heard anybody coming after him. Usually you hear those rumors, but we just have not. So I am starting to read a little bit more. I have a bunch of good books that I could be reading. I'm trying to, again, get my nephew to read a little bit as he's heading off to college. Not that big of a reader. His mother's a big reader, although mostly fiction. So I'm trying to do that. And the CDs, I try to put them on my hard drive. I have a lot of CDs. I just don't listen to them. So you could get rid of them. And that would, if I got rid of my books and my CDs, that would eliminate like 20 boxes. The move would be a lot easier. Smaller, that's for sure. But we bring them with us. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Again, we'll remind you about the birthday party on Tuesday and Wednesday. But I think it's going to be out there all week. We'll certainly find out first thing Wednesday morning if Foot is broadcasting a show. And remember, they're changing things up. Again, Jordy's going first thing in the morning. Again, if I was D-Lo, I would have taken 7 to 9. I'm not sure if it was offered. 1 to 3 is a nice middle of the day deal, but you kind of want to be drive time. That would have been a good thing. Maybe Jordy asked for it. I don't know. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much. Have a great day. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.